Great, thank you. Thank you, Katie. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay.
Yes.
Great. So good morning. If you're here on Eastern Standard Time, we are really excited to once again this winter be offering a collaboration event, virtual event for you all. This is speaking on behalf of the group here, which is including our Virginia Beginning Farmer Rancher Coalition, Agribility Virginia, Virginia Cooperative Extension, the Virginia State University Small Farm Outreach Program, and the Virginia Association for Biological Farming. Like many things, we are collaborating based on mutual interest and support for new and beginning farmers, social disadvantaged farmers, military veterans, and farmers who are looking to transition. And you can see how this group of organizations works together to do just that. Today, we are really thrilled to be offering Yoga for Farmers. And thank you very much, Mary Cush, for leading this opportunity. Just wanted to briefly share before I do a quick introduction to Mary that the efforts with these particular these groups, we have been focusing on the relationship between wellness and farming and planning, meaning the relationship between overall mental and physical wellness is really related to how we think about our bodies and the farm setting itself and how we can continue to plan for that as an overarching goal. And I know that particularly the Virginia Beginning Farmer Coalition and Agribility Virginia have been, and with partners, have been focusing on mental health, wellness, and this really does fall directly into that set of goals. So that being said, VABF and the VSU Small Farm Outreach Program have been core partners in that effort. So you'll hear more about some of the ways you can support VABF in just a little bit in this talk this morning. So I have the pleasure to introduce Mary, and maybe some of you have heard of Mary's work before, but I'm excited to share that Mary Cush is a 200-hour Yoga Alliance certified instructor. And she has also the roles and responsibilities of a small community-supported agriculture farmer with training from Asheville Yoga Center, along with additional training in special topics like Om Yoga, accessible yoga, and posture and movement. She has started a number of programs to serve people in her community, including seniors and people currently incarcerated. So her yoga is really based in the practice of accessibility and opening it for people of all different abilities. And so we're really thankful, Mary, that you are able to lead us in this opportunity this morning. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And it is mental and physical health all encompassed right here. So what I'm hoping to leave you with today is a few vinyasas or flows of movement that will help you as far as lubricating all your joints and things that are accessible to you without a mat, and a few pranayama or breathing techniques that you can have in your toolbox anytime you might need it for mental health or just to feel good, and a few ergonomic suggestions as far as tool use and as far as movement in the field when you're carrying and lifting. All right, so we'll start off like we always should in yoga by going inward a bit and noticing our breath. And what I'd like for you to do throughout the practice today is there will only be one pranayama where we're not breathing through our nose. So unless you're stuffed up or congested, try to breathe smoothly, evenly, and slowly through your nose. You always hear the expression deep breath, but we're shooting more for the smooth, even, and slow. So let's just take a few breaths like that right now before we start. You can do it with your eyes closed or open. And we're concentrating on the inhalation being smooth and even and slow. And the exhalation, smooth and even and slow. now that we've set that breath, we're going to start off. We'll just start off like we do mornings normally. Most people start off with either a caffeine fix or some type of morning ritual that involves a beverage. And so we're going to start off with a little what I call the coffee drip mini vinyasa. This is just a little mini vinyasa flow that you can use while you're in the kitchen waiting on something to cook in the microwave, something to drip. I'm going to give you the hand motions, the motions first, and the breath, and then we'll put it together with the breath because the breath will lead the movement. So we're going to inhale our arms up. And then on an exhale, your hands are pressed together at the top. On an exhale, you're going to bring the hands down. Remember, slow, smooth. On an inhalation, we're going to bring our hands apart and then have the palms face back. Exhale, going back behind your back, clasping your hands. And then on an inhalation, you're going to start right around your lower pelvis, and you're going to lift up through your ribs, lift up through your chest, then back with your shoulders, then up with your head. So when you're doing this back bend, you want it to start here and go up. Okay. Take care if you have lower back issues. It can be just a little tiny back bend like this. Clasping the hands in back and maybe pushing down a little bit, but not too hard. Be gentle to yourself. Okay. So that's an inhale. And then, what's next? And then an exhale, we're just going to come back to center with our thumbs pointed forward. When you point your thumbs forward, what you'll notice is you get an automatic external rotation of your shoulders. So just have your hands pointed forward like this, and then do your thumbs pointed forward. And you'll notice the difference in the openness of the chest. Okay, so we're going to do this a couple more times, this time a little smoother now. You know the motions. Your coffee's still dripping, so we still have time. Inhale up. Exhale, press to center. Inhale, open. Exhale, palms to the back, down. Inhale, slight back bend. And exhale, forward. I don't know if y'all can see this. I just got a bunch of garbage up on my screen. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay. Inhale up. Exhale, center. Inhale out. Palms back. Exhale, back. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, thumbs forward. One last time without cues this time. That way you can see it in your mind in case you want to do it at home again. All right, that moves a lot of your joints up front. The other main joint that we want to loosen up before we go out in the field is the pelvis area. If you have a crushed or any type of lower lumbar disc issue, you really want to proceed with caution as far as moving that pelvis area. And you probably already know from your doctor what you can and can't do. Put your hands where you can feel your little hip points, okay? Your feet can be about a little bit more than hip distance apart with the toes pointed out a little bit if that's comfortable. And we're just gonna rotate our pelvis. So up and down. One way to imagine this is or forward and back, I should say, is that the pelvis is like a little bowl of salad and you're kind of tilting it forward and then back. This is what it would look like from the side. Now you can also use your breath with this. Inhaling it forward, exhaling it back. This is an easy maneuver to do throughout the day if you start to feel tightness developing in your lower back. Okay, so just. The other thing that this does is it allows you, through those hip points, to be able to see whether or not you're favoring one side or the other. If your hip points are always pretty much even, it means that you're not putting undue strain on one hip joint versus the other. So that's a good way of checking in with your body position, health tilts. Now, we're going to warm up all our major joints now by doing a Qigong movement called streaming the fountains. So you're going to, feet will be a little bit more than hip distance apart. Your toes are pointed out a little bit. Now notice when your toes are pointed out, bend your knees a little bit, and you should notice that your knees will point towards your toes, your middle toes. This is always good to check in throughout the day where your knees are pointing, because that's when you get knee injuries. If you're bending down like this and your knee's over here, the knee joint was not meant to do that, okay? You want it always tracking between your second and third toe. So it's just something to keep track of when you're bending, when you're moving throughout the day. Where's my knee? Is my knee protected? Okay, so in this position, we're going to inhale and we're going to sweep down, inhaling up, and then exhaling, flowing down. Notice how we're getting all major joints to get lubricated here. Inhaling up and exhaling down. The other thing that this does with the breath is it's very, very soothing. If you have any type of anxiety attack or you feel something coming on, you have to do this with your breath, and it's extremely hypnotic and soothing. So we're going to do this 2 more times this way. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhaling, bringing good energy from the earth, and exhaling, having it stream over you. This time we're going to scoop up that good energy, and we're going to pause here, and we're going to reverse the motion, exhaling down and inhaling up. Remember to bend only as far as you can. This might be what your streaming the fountains looks like. You don't have to go down to the ground. Okay, it might look like this, right? One thing to also notice is don't round as you're going down. Try to keep straight with your butt in the back a little bit. And one more time, streaming the fountains. All right, so motion is lotion. What we've done is we've lubricated our knees, our ankles, our hips, our shoulders. All right, streaming the fountains. So now, a lot of times what you'll end up doing is having a little bit of work that you need to do at your chair in the morning. So I'm just going to do a few proper seating techniques since we end up back at that computer inevitably. So we'll start off without a wedge or a towel, okay? Feet, once again, will be hip distance apart, toes pointed out, therefore your knees going that way, not in, following the toes. And it's gonna, you have to stick your butt out, okay? So you're going to press in like this and you're gonna hinge here at the hips as you're going down. Now we're gonna start off on the edge of the chair, okay? Then reach back up here, video's not on, don't worry. And you're gonna fluff up your fanny a little bit, all right? What fluffing the fanny does is it allows for a little bit of anti-version in your hips, in your pelvic region, excuse me. So it's tilted slightly, ever so slightly forward. This should feel comfortable. The other thing with a chair is if your legs are dangling or pushing down, you need to, as much as you can, have this be right angles so that it's not undue stress. So it might involve, for shorter people, putting a block or something underneath your feet for proper seating alignment. We want to go ahead and mess with our shoulders and everything else to make sure that's good. So first of all, we want to do a self-adjustment that we'll do frequently, you can do throughout the day, for our chest. So a lot of times when you think of sitting up straight, what you think of is holding your shoulders back, and that's sitting up straight. Unfortunately, it does nothing to the thoracic spine back here, which is the thing that's curving. So to sit up straight, what you can do is you can put your hand on your chest, lift up and back. Not only does that open up your chest, but you feel a little bit better. Posture begets your emotional well-being. So if you're up and open, your mind is up and open, your spirit is up and open. Another way for making that adjustment that's more farmer-oriented here is you can play like you got on suspenders, or maybe you even do, which is good. You're going to put your fingers, if you don't have suspenders, right here underneath your underarms, okay? And then just lift up and back on that chest, right? Notice how that feels. Should be very opening. You're ready to face the world. All right, one last thing for the shoulders. If you're going to be sitting for a while, you want your shoulders in proper adjustment. We're going to do these separate because shoulders have different mobility unique to each shoulder. You bring your shoulder forward slightly, up towards the ear slightly, and then way back, and then let it hang. So your shoulders should be hanging, your arm, about 2/3 of the way back from your back. Other one forward, up, and then exaggerated back, then let it rest. Okay, so this should feel comfortable. Now relax into it, because we're all like, ooh, am I doing it right? How's my hips? Well, relax into it and see if it feels good. And if it feels good, you're probably doing it right. If you feel pinching or anything else, then there's something going on there. If you're going to be at your computer for a while, one adjustment that you can make that really helps as far as neck pain is to have the computer, the top edge, even with your eyes. With a laptop, this would be difficult without an external keyboard, with a tabletop, what do you call those versions? With the old-fashioned kind, then you should be able to adjust that where the eyes are. And then instead of using your neck to always be looking down or over, try using your eyeballs, okay? So instead of looking down, you can look down with your eyeballs and keep your neck in a neutral position. If you want to lean back all the way in your chair, you can use a wedge or a towel or anything. You can use this in driving too to get that little anti-version. Okay, so once again, I'm spreading my legs out and sitting down in a very old grandpa-like manner, I guess, sticking my butt out, getting it right up on that wedge. Yeah. And then you get that forward action a little bit. It's not exaggerated, it's very slight, but it puts the hips in a very nice neutral position. All right. So we got the seating. Let's see. While you're sitting here, one of the things you can do is open up the fascia around your hip joint. Okay. So one way to do this is you're going to cross your knees. You can see I have kind of a very tight hip. So I'm crossing my leg. The ankle is hanging off a little bit on the edge. And notice I'm not trying to ratchet this down. I'm just letting it be up there because I'm all tight. All right. So when you're working, have a posture like this sometimes. It takes about 5 minutes for the fascia to loosen up. So you'd have to hang out here for a while, okay, for the fascia to loosen up. And for people that don't know about fascia, fascia is that opaque white lining that surrounds our muscles and our joints and kind of holds things in place. It's a dynamic tissue. It's constantly being put down and torn apart. And so if it's static and doesn't move, it kind of gets stuck. That's what you get if you've had surgery or you have adhesions. It's your fascia being all scarred up, okay? So we're going to do the other side. We're not going to do it 5 minutes today because of time. Hang it over. And in this part, I'm just going to show you a 3-part exhalation. It's another very nice breathing technique that can, if you need to tune into something else besides the disasters that are happening before your very eyes every day on a farm, tune into your breathing, and this is a good one. So it involves an inhalation through the nose, 4-count inhalation or whatever's comfortable. And then you're going to exhale and hold for 3 counts. So you'll exhale, and we can say pause. You'll exhale and pause, and exhale and pause. So the important thing is don't blow all your exhalation out the first one, because in the end, you're going to be like, like that. So don't do that. You're going to have to even it out. That involves concentration. You're concentrating on your breathing, so that's a good thing to go inward. All right, so we're going to try it. Everybody exhale completely. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, hold. exhale, hold, exhale, hold, exhale completely. Now for some of you, it might have been too much. What you do to control or to navigate your breath is let it out slower and let less out, or only do 3 holds. So we're going to do this one more time with a count, and then I'm going to let you do it 2 times to practice on your own. Everybody exhale completely. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, hold. Exhale, hold. Exhale, hold. Exhale completely. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, hold. Exhale, hold. Exhale completely. Do 2 more rounds, adjusting for your own breath. Right. Go ahead and adjust your seat. We're going to do a little bit of shoulder stuff. It seems like in farming, a lot of places where it gets you is right between the shoulder blades. You ever get that? So it might be your trapezius is this really huge muscle in the back. That trapezius is shaped like a triangle. There's a muscle underneath called the rhomboid that never gets a chance to do anything because trapezius always wants to do it all and it gets strained. So what we're going to do with this next is first we're going to loosen up the shoulders, and then we're going to do a therapeutic hold where you can feel your rhomboid jump into action down the middle of your back, okay? It's good for it. It wants to work. Okay, so first let's warm up the shoulders a little bit. We're going to inhale our arms out for some length. And then on an exhale, bring your fingertips to your shoulders. We're going to make circles with our elbows. And once again, anytime you incorporate breath, it makes it a little bit deeper. So inhaling your elbows up, exhaling them down and to the side, making these circles. You should hear some crunching. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Rice Krispies, snap, crackle, pop, huh? Inhaling up and exhaling down. This time we're going to inhale up and pause, and we're going to exhale down and go the opposite direction. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. All right, shake that out. Good shoulder rolls to do at any time. We're going to inhale our arms out. And then bend at the elbows, arms facing forward, okay? And on an exhalation, we're gonna bring our arms in, we're gonna curve our back, we're gonna hunch over, bring the belly button in towards your spine, hunching over and leaning in. And then inhaling, we're gonna open up, using that breath. Let's do this 3 more times. Exhaling, coming in, using that whole breath, smooth, even, slow. 2 more times using your own breath here. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. Okay, now this time, come forward, shake it out a little bit. We're going to do therapeutic. And therapeutic also means, oh, where that might have felt good, you're going, ah, yeah. Therapeutic, you're going to be more like, okay. All right, so bring your arms out. And then we're going to come back into that goddess position. Take a look at your elbows. What are they doing? If they're back like this, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and make the elbows parallel to the shoulders, okay? So you might already feel something in the middle of your back. If not, what you're going to do is you're going to take these arms back, bring them back a little bit. So you're bringing them back towards your center here, okay? Back towards the center. Take a look at your elbows. What they do? Ooh, they're pointing to the back. Straighten them out. Oh, rhomboid, you're back there, okay? Now, what are you doing with your breath? Okay, I don't know about y'all, but I'm holding my breath. That's not good. Let me breathe. Let me breathe into this. We're gonna hold it. Don't do anything that's a sharp pain, but you will feel this. And each time on an inhalation, if you feel like you can push them back just a little bit further, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that without exerting too hard. This is something where it's not a no pain, no gain thing. It's like, no pain, period. Okay. All right, let's exhale and bring it down. Ooh, it's good. Okay, therapeutic guides. That's a good one just to get the rhomboid in gear there and have it doing something besides the trapezius taking it over it. One last thing before we stand up and do a few things. You always hear about people saying engage your core, and it's kind of hard to know what that means and how that looks and how that feels. So let me just give you a few pointers, because each time you lift something or you're going to do a twist or a turn, you do want to engage those muscles, because what those muscles do is it protects your vertebrae, right? And the muscles you're engaging are these abdominis muscles that are all along here, whereas if you've ever had a baby, sometimes they can actually be separated out and never go back. And you have the transverse obliques too, okay? So one way to know if you're engaging, to feel that engagement, is to bring your belly button in and up. And notice, like, I'm not sucking it in. It's not a harsh movement. You're bringing your belly button in and up towards your spine. So in towards your spine, excuse me, and then up a little bit. And what you should feel, put your hand there, you should feel your muscles tense up a little bit. They don't have to be real hard or real tense. That's engaging your core. Another way to feel that you're engaging your core, put your hand there and just do the letter S out loud. And you feel them slightly engaged. That's all you need. The other way, which I don't recommend, where you can feel like your core is engaged, if you don't know what it feels like, have somebody just give you a light shove. And you automatically engage your core so you don't fall down. But that's just if you really, really don't feel it, and you need to feel what it feels like. So that's engaging the core. And let's see. All right. So we've already done the chest stretching. We're going to stand up now. I'm going to move this out of the way. And we're going to take some of that information that we've had, and we're going to use some hand tools, which is going to be kind of difficult shoveling on a hardwood floor, but we shall proceed with our make-believe anyway. All right, so if you have a hand tool, go ahead and grab it. I want to show you one of the things about our disc and our spine is through time they start to get squished. It's like a jelly donut, and your stuff gets squished like that. So as much as possible, we want to make room between the hard bony vertebrae so that your jelly doesn't get squished out. So as much as you can be in traction or allow space between your vertebrae, that's what you would really love. So I'm going to take this hand tool here. Okay, I'm going to put it right in front of me. I'm going to make sure that I'm not leaning on one hip or the other. Okay, once again, your proprioceptor. Where am I in space? Okay, I'm even in space here. It doesn't really matter whether it's close to your body or far away, but what you want is you want your spine in neutral, and that doesn't mean straight up. It means a slight little lumbar curve that's natural, and then a slight little cervical curve, and a slight little outward curve in your thoracic. So we're going to push down on this, and then starting down with our feet, you're going to kind of feel lift, and then up to your sacrum. You can also use your imagery with this. Just imagine each little vertebrae as you're going up, creating a tiny little bit of space. I'm not putting a lot of pressure here, but it really does feel good. Creating traction throughout the day. You're working, stop for a little bit, and give those vertebrae some space. All right, so just slump over, and then do it again. And that way, you can really feel that lengthening. Okay. So, traction with a hand tool throughout the day. let's work a little bit on shovel stuff. All right. So one of the common causes of injuries is lifting and twisting at the same time. And I actually forgot to show you on the chair. If you have a chair handy, let's get back on our chair. I just want to show you a twisting thing because this is crucial as far as where people injure themselves. Okay, so proper seating technique. So usually when people twist, whether it's standing or sitting, I'm going to show you sitting because it's easier to feel it, is you start twisting down here with your lower lumbar. Now these particular vertebrae are not really made for a lot of twisting. They're there for stabilizing. Whereas you go further up, your thoracic vertebrae, they're okay with twisting because we do that a lot. But we've gotten into the habit of twisting from the bottom. So what we want to do is put your hand back there on your back, on your lower back, and we're going to twist, just twisting starting there. So just twist like you normally twist and feel it, feel your lower lumbar twist. Let's come back. This time, we're going to twist, but we're going to start up here in the thoracic. And the way that we do that is lead with your shoulder when you're twisting. So I'm leading with my shoulder twisting. And this back lumbar is hardly twisting at all. It's not really made for that. So we should let the thoracic do what it's made for. Let it be free. And then we'll bring it back. All right. So the other thing I want you to notice, if you twist just with your lumbar, you don't twist as much. If you're twisting, leading with that shoulder, therefore leading with your thoracic spine, you get to twist more and do whatever it is you're trying to do over there. So twisting. So that was crucial for shoveling. Because a lot of times when you're shoveling, digging a hole and putting it out towards somewhere. So just a few things here. It's a little difficult to do it on a hardwood floor, but your stance is important. Knee position is important once again. Take a peek down at your knee. Your knees shouldn't be over here if your feet are over here. They should be pointing towards that, all right? As far as handling the shovel, you know, whatever handle you like, and you're going to engage your corset, your inner corset, your core. Okay, you're going to bend down, shovel, and then when you're going to twist, if you're digging a hole and you're going to twist, you're not going to go like this. You're going to go like this. Lead with that shoulder. So practice this a little bit, all right? Shoveling techniques, which, like I said, is kind of staged here. But what you want to look at in shoveling is where are your knees? Are you twisting? Or are you lifting something heavy and twisting? Ooh, worst thing. Are you lifting and then twisting properly? Okay? So practice that a little bit. Keep in mind those few things. All right, right on time. Shoveling, weeding, another place where you get into trouble. Okay, especially younger people. I see this a lot in younger people that come out on the farm. Okay, they'll get ready to weed. I'm going to turn sideways for this, and they do this. Okay, look at my back. Oh, my poor back. It really does not like that. So what you want is you're going to do this hip hinging. You're going to create a little cradle, so you're going to spread your feet out a little bit more, toes pointed out, that's comfortable, okay, knees pointed out. You're creating a little cradle, a little space for your hips. Push back, you're coming down, and notice my back. My back is straight. Look how far I can get down here. Wow. Look, I even got like a little hand rest here. If I get tired, I can put my arm right here. I can weed, what else can I do? Pull carrots, all kinds of stuff. And then I'm going to come up. Okay. So you're out weeding, you make a mistake, you bend down and go like, oh, that's going to hurt. Just spread out a little bit and bring this back. It's not really sticking your butt out, it's more sticking your butt back. And notice how that corrected. I went from this to this. That one thing will make a huge difference. All the younger people that I've showed that to have, it's like a switch. It's like, oh, that does feel better. Let's see, carrying a load. So once again, what we're trying to work with is keeping our spine in a neutral position, especially when it's load bearing. So usually when you carry a load, especially if it's a kid on your hip, you're going to lean towards that. So if you felt your hip points, they would not be even. You're leaning towards this. You're carrying, especially if it's something heavy, carrying it like this, right? Okay. So I invite you that when you're carrying a heavy load, be aware that, oh my gosh, and just straighten up with your heavy load. Wow, that is a lot easier. Your heavy load becomes not so heavy anymore, especially for your back. Okay? The same thing with carrying a load in front of you. If you're carrying a heavy load in front of you, there's a tendency to lean down towards it and to round. Once again, I invite you to stand up straight with your heavy load. It's not going to be any heavier. And to walk with the everything spread out. Okay? And speaking of walking, one thing that can really help you as far as walking, notice if you're standing, or your hands with the palms facing forward, like that, or your hands like this. One easy correction that you can make to open up your chest throughout the day, besides the hillbilly and the chest opening thing, is to point your thumbs forward when you walk. Okay, so see my thumbs are pointing forward. Go ahead and do this. Put the palms, the back of the hands facing forward. And notice where your shoulders are. See where the shoulders are? Feel that? Okay. Now, point your thumbs forward. Ooh, voila. That's nice, huh? Yes, every once in a while when you're just walking around, just go, oh. And you have an instant chest open. Let's see. I want to show you one full body sun salutation. This is a nice one. You don't have to get down on the ground for. It involves breath, so it pumps it up a little bit, and it will stretch every major muscle that you've been working out there in an even way, so that if you've been working on one side or the other a little bit, it kind of evens things out. Okay, so I call it the Pamplin sun salutation because I designed it for the older people that I work here in my community with in Pamplin. All right, so we're going to go in the beginning. I'll tell you the breath, but I'll also put in a few pointers for each movement so it won't flow like it should. The second time we do it, we'll flow a little bit more with the breath. And the third time, I'll give you minimal cues so you can remember it. The fourth time, we'll do it on our own if we got time for that. So everybody exhale completely, and then we'll inhale, and we're going to bring our arms, sweep them up just as far as I can. Kind of try to relax your shoulders here. Okay. Exhale, you're going to bring your hands down. Be careful if you have lower back issues, stop wherever you need to. Okay. Next inhalation, you're going to come about halfway up and extend your back like this. And then you're going to exhale and fold over completely again. Next time you inhale, you're going to come up all the way, and you're going to clasp your hands. And on an exhalation, we're going to bend to the side. Now, when you're bending to the side, you don't want to be forward with this bend, and you don't want to be back with this bend. You want to feel like you're between two panes of glass, okay? You might feel like you can go further if you're forward, but it's not about how far you can bend. It's about how you can keep your proper alignment moving. Then you're going to inhale to the center and push it up on those hands, and then exhale to the side. Then we're going to inhale to the center again. This time we're going to exhale and sweep our hands behind and let them rest on our side. You're going to come forward a little bit. You're going to exhale and bring that back foot back. I'm up on the ball of my foot. This is a lot of balance here. So if you're getting kind of wobbly here, bring your foot forward or bring your feet out. You can actually touch your knee down if you need to. Okay, so here we are, and on an exhalation, you're going to bend that front knee. Where's our knee point? Right between those toes. Okay, and you're still up on the ball of your feet. You want your torso, instead of being forward or back, you want it kind of straight up. Okay, Now we're going to inhale these arms up. Ooh, a lot of balance going on here. Okay. Exhale, push off and come forward. That's the tricky one. Hands on your hip points. Inhale the other foot back. You're up on the ball of your foot. Okay. Exhale, you're going to bend that front knee. Push out through that back heel. You're still up on your ball of your foot. And then balance, balance, balance. Inhale up if that's available to you. If not, keep your hands on your hips. And push off and come forward. Okay, so that's it. Each movement is a half a breath, either an inhalation or exhalation. Only do what feels good to you. If coming back here you feel very unstable, just bring the knee down to that point. Okay, all right, so here we go. Inhale up. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, chest leading out, flat back. Exhale, fold over completely. Inhale, hands sweeping up all the way, clasp. Exhale, bend to the side. Inhale, push up to the center. And exhale, over to the side. Inhale, up to the center. Exhale, sweep the hands and bring them to rest on your side. Inhale, back bend, pressing down, leading up, and exhale, coming down with the thumbs forward. Inhale, hands on hips. You're going to bring that right foot back on the wall. Exhale, sink into that pose, bending the front knee. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, pressing up. Inhale, foot back. Exhale, bend the knees, sinking. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, pushing off. All right. Running a little low on time here, so that'll be on the recording, so if you need to redo it. And I also have a handout that will show you the basic movements. Okay. One little thing that we didn't do with the hand exercises, and I think that's crucial. So I'm gonna come in close. We didn't do hand exercises, did we? We'll do them again. All righty, so I'm going to give you a few cues with these hand exercises, animal name cues. And the hands are something that also suffers, especially with weeding and especially early on. So we're going to start off with web. So you're spreading your hands out in a web form. Okay, claw. So just the tips, if you can. Notice how it's just the top parts that I'm clawing at, like the cat purring. Then we're going to bring our hands out like this, and this is beak. And you can move the bottom or the top for beak. And then you're going to bring that thumb in, curl your hands around, and that's paw, squeeze, and it kind of resets it. Let's do this one more time, and I'll send a little thing with the handouts if you want to do this again. Web, claw, beak, and paw. One more time. Web, claw, beak, hello, and paw. One more wrist thing. So we're going to come out like this, kind of neutral elbows. Bring your hands down, kind of like zombie hands, and then squeeze into a fist. Ooh, now that is stretching something that doesn't get stretched much. The front of the hand, okay? You can do it another way too. You can make your fist first and then come down and see if that's a different way that feels better for you, okay? So it's bending at the wrist and having that fist motion. All right, a little hand exercise. Okay, last thing that I want to just very briefly touch on is sleeping posture. I'm going to go through it a little bit, and then there are a couple of book recommendations. One of them having lots of pictures and instructions on this. And I did train with this lady Gokley once, and it was an amazing experience. So before we do sleep posture, I want to go over one more pranayama that is a very soothing pranayama that will help you if you wake up in the middle of the night, have trouble sleeping, or just to fall asleep. So usually you're breathing through your nose. In this one, the exhalation will actually be out through your mouth, through a pursed lip, like you're sucking on a straw, but you're blowing out instead. So it will be an inhalation through your nose, and then a very slow, it's not even an exhalation. You're just kind of pursing your lips and letting the air slowly leak out. Okay. So let's try it. Not that you can see anything here. Not that you can see anything here either, but here we go. Okay, so exhale completely. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Purse your lips and let the air leak out. When you get to the end of your breath, before you're panicking, go ahead and inhale again. And you will slowly let the air leak out through your pursed lips. One thing that you should notice is it greatly increases your exhalation. Anytime you can increase your exhalation, it clicks in the parasympathetic nervous system that helps you more into a relaxation mode. So this is one of my favorite breaths because it's something that seems so simple, but you can really practice a lot with it. Just letting the air barely leak out, but letting it be smooth, knowing when that air runs out to be able to take a controlled next inhalation instead of a gasping inhalation. All right, so that is straw breath. Sorry, I feel like we're kind of running through this, but here we go. Last topic. We're going to be laying down for this. I'm not sure if that being able to lay down right now is available for people. I'm going to show you a constructive rest position. So anytime you feel that the muscles are extremely tense in your lower back, if you can get into this position for at least 5 minutes, you will find some relief. You'll have the fascia settle down and the muscles. So your feet will be a little bit more than hip distance apart. Okay, your hips aren't as big as you think they are. If you want to know more than hip distance apart, put your hands right there by your hips. And you're like, oh, I'm slipping. The toes can be pointed slightly inward, and that will make your knees come together. And then lower yourself down. Now experiment a little bit with what feels good. Feet closer to your butt, feet further away. Okay. You'll notice maybe if your back's already in a little bit of pain, that it might be a little uncomfortable in the beginning. The other thing that you can do is you can open up your arms with the palms facing upward, and that externally rotates your shoulders just a little bit, for a little bit of opening. While you're in this position, it's nice to practice some pranayama. You can do the straw breath, or the 3-part exhalation is nice too. Okay. The other thing that we can do here is lift our legs up. You'll notice that your core engages here. And let's give our ankles a little bit of exercise, but without the pressure of our body weight. And you might get a little bit of snap, crackle, pop here, flipping them back and forth. Spreading your toes, bunching them together. Spreading the toes, and bunching them together. And then bringing the knees in and then back up. So we're getting a little rush here. Posture, sleeping on your back. Not everybody sleeps on your back. Sleeping on your side is just fine. We're going to take a pillow and we're going to put it right where our knees are. All right? And then what you're going to do is, once again, you're going to try to get your back in traction. The way that you're going to do this is by pulling back with your hands and then your elbows. Now, what I want to do is not pull back and have an arch like that. I'm going to pull back and gently set these vertebrae down with a little bit of space in between. Once I get my vertebrae down, I'm going to reach back here, and this is part of my spine too. I'm going to grab my head, cradle it, pull it forward a little bit, and I should have a pillow underneath here where my neck ends up in a neutral space. And you know that because your chin will be slightly tilted down, and it'll feel good. Okay? And then I'm going to set my feet down, my legs down. Now you can sleep with this cushion underneath your knees, all right? You can start off with your hips externally rotated a little bit. So you can bring the soles of your feet together. You can start off like that. Some people sleep the whole night in this position. Okay. I do want to show you on the side though, because even if you're used to sleeping on your back, in times like this, it's a little bit anxiety provoking as a mammal to have like all your soft parts exposed, and that's still kind of in your brain. So some people can't sleep on their back for those reasons. So in sleeping on your side, the key here is that you want the joints in your ankles to align to the joints in your hips, to align to the joints in your shoulders. What happens when you sleep on your side, and the only reason why sometimes they say, oh, that's not a good way to sleep, is that you end up in a C. You don't want that C. You want a 120-degree angle here and here, and then here up, you're going to, once again, do the traction by pulling, okay? You can also have a pillow in between here to make your hips equal, all right? You can have a towel underneath here if you need that. You're pulling, traction, okay? Your hips are going to want to be a little bit anti-vertical to start off with, okay? And then stretch out. So the last thing that you're going to do, once you're in your good position, there can be a pillow underneath here, is you're going to want to roll the shoulder back because you don't want the shoulder coming out. A lot of people end up with really cramped shoulder and neck when you wake up. But what we want to do is, once again, we're trying to get this into a neutral position. You're not going to stay like this all night, but at least you're starting like this and getting a nice rest for your muscles. When your spine is in a neutral position, your muscles don't have to be tense. All righty, well, I think I went way over.
I think that works, Mary. We haven't had any questions in the Q&A feature, so I think we're good with time. But yeah,
I guess it'd be hard if you were anticipating.
Yeah. We may have a couple minutes if anybody wants to put a question in the Q&A chat, and we can share that with Mary. I might take this moment while folks are writing any questions they have to share a couple slides. And Lindsay will be sharing about a couple upcoming events and ways to support VABF, and I will share that screen real quick, and then we'll end with questions. Okay. Passing it over to you, Lindsay.
Hi, we have two upcoming events, one this week on Thursday, Feeding the Soil with Pam Dowling, and then on March 12th with Mark Schoenbeck, Building Soil Health to Sustain Virginia's Farms and Protect Water Quality, an Organic Approach. We would love for you to join us for those webinars, and you can find the registration for those on our website at vabf.org. Can you share the next slide, Katie? We have, Mary recommends two books 8 Steps to a Pain-Free Back, and Yoga for Healthy Aging. Mary's actually showing her books right now. If you will buy these books from Stone Soup Books in Waynesboro, we have a partnership with them, and half of the profits come back to VABF directly, and you're supporting an independent bookseller. Please consider making a donation today to VABF. It's tax-deductible donation. You can also become a member of VABF on our website, vabf.org, and also sign up for our monthly newsletters. There is a survey for this webinar, and the link will be in the chat. We would appreciate your thoughts.
Great. Yeah, and that's all we have for our slides. So I will stop sharing my screen. And thank you so much, Lindsay, for sharing the ways people can support VABF through those book links, which Garland put into the chat, as well as ways they may be able to support through donations or if they want to become a member. So thank you, Lindsay. And it looks like, Lindsay, if you want to take on the Q&A feature, it looks like we have one in here that we can answer.
Yes, Mary, did you say there were book recommendations for sleeping?
Yes. And I apologize because I know I went over fast with that. And the other thing with the sleeping posture, if you do have a partner or a friend that would help cue you in on some of the alignment, that helps a lot. And the other thing that I noticed is I have like a futon that has a back like this. And to me, it helps me know whether or not my hips are aligned with my ankles, et cetera, because I have that feedback on the back cushion. But this is the book. It's a woman that traveled around studying posture. And a lot of her stuff is looking at other cultures that have no back pain, even though, you know, serious. Am I on mute? No. Yeah? No.
You're good, Mary.
Okay. I'm really doing the old lady thing today. Yeah, so anyway, it's a great book. I recommend it because we kind of glided over that, but I just wanted to mention it because of the importance of it as far as keeping our bodies in shape so that we can farm as long as we can.
Mary, we have another question. On the later flow, are both feet up on the balls of the feet or just the back one?
Okay, so on the flow, your front leg will be bent on the exhalation. So in the beginning, it's straight. You're up on the ball on your back foot, and then on your exhalation, you're going to sink by bending this leg, keeping your knee in proper alignment, but you're still up on the ball. It's kind of like a little springy balancing thing. This is stretching your psoas muscle, which is another muscle that wraps all the way around here, and sometimes a tight psoas will cause that lower back. So did that answer it?
Michelle, you can let us know if you need more clarification on that. And Mary, Sandy would like to know if you recommend any online yoga classes.
It depends on how old Sandy is. So the one, I don't do a type of yoga that's injurious, that's aerobic and very young. Yes, I don't know. So this book right here, the other one that's recommended, Baxter Bell is a medical doctor, and all of he has tons of little small videos that are just so informative and so wonderful. He's a real healer because he gives a lot of these videos away on YouTube. So if you search Baxter Bell Yoga on YouTube, I think he even has a channel. That has some really lovely flows. And the other one that I recommend for yoga that won't hurt you is Adrienne, Yoga by Adrienne, Adrienne. If you just search once again, you'll be able to find her videos.
Thank you, Mary.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat, so I just want to take a moment to thank you, Mary, and to also thank Kim, Lindsay, and Garland for your support today, making this event happen. And last of all, thanking each of you all for participating today. As Mary mentioned, we will be sending you a follow-up email with that handout that she'll be sharing. And we'll also share the book links in there as well. And this recording will be available within a week, and we'll let you all know on our listserv. Is there anything else to add, Kim, Lindsay?
Katie, people, or Mary, maybe this is for you actually. People are asking about the title of the sleep book, but I think it was one of the books that you recommended. Was it 8 Steps to a Pain-Free Back?
Yeah, and it's there's a chapter in it on sleep alignment. So there's a couple of chapters. There's one on sleeping on your back, and there's one they call stretch line, sleeping on your side. And yeah, that little demo was not nearly enough to be able to do it properly. So I would recommend, if you have looking for a nice book to add to your library. And to help out the local bookstore. That's a great partnership.